Hello, my name is Joe, and welcome to my channel, Joe's Book and Movie Corner. Today I have another Shorty September video for you. I read Carmilla by Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. It is a 1872 novella about a vampire. I wonder if it's gaining traction and slowly becoming more popular in the past few recent years. I've been hearing about it more and more. Maybe it's just because I heard about it once and now I'm hearing about it everywhere. But it predates Dracula. And while I had one issue with it, which I will talk about, I really enjoyed it. I mentioned in my last video that I want to read Dracula next month. So this was like a nice hors d'oeuvre. It's kind of getting me ready for Dracula. In my last video, I read The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, and I talked a lot about the style and also the structure of how that novel is written. And I talked about how I'm calling it epistolary-esque. I don't know if that's the right word, but what I mean by that is it's a story, or the narrative feels like a character is literally sitting across from you telling you the story. And that's different from a contemporary style where even if it's written, I mean, most novels I feel like are probably written in the past tense. Even if it's written in a first person perspective in the past tense, you still feel like you're experiencing events with the characters. Another thing I didn't really get into, but I think is a little bit more contemporary. In a modern style, I feel like authors, they focus on physical action more. They also get in characters' heads maybe a little bit more. But they focus on action. I don't mean action movie scenes, but just like, actual physical or non-dialogue scenes. And that's important here with Carmilla. So what is Carmilla about? I mean, it's a vampire story. You probably can make some predictions about what happens in it. But it's very famous for being homoerotic. It has a very sensual relationship between the female main character and this female vampire. So that was really, really interesting. There's two really great creepy scenes. I mean, to talk about scenes with action, there's two scenes that are really well done. The first is the beginning of the book, where the main character is a little girl and the vampire visits her and gets in bed with her, and it's really creepy. And then later on, when the narrator is now she's a young woman, and this girl Carmilla is staying with her and her father in their gothic house. Carmilla starts acting really creepy at night, and the narrator wakes up and she sees the vampire standing over her bed, and she's got blood all over her nightgown. It's really, really creepy. So I definitely recommend it. I definitely enjoyed it. But let's talk about something that I did not like about it, and I think I can tie it to this recounting style. And if I haven't outright said it, Carmilla feels like the narrator is sitting across from you. She's telling you events. These events have already happened, and it feels different than a contemporary style. I call it epistolary-esque because I imagine it could easily have been reworked into a series of letters. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, letters are the same thing. It's someone sitting down and writing a letter to recount something that has already happened. The difference I'm predicting I'm going to find with Dracula and epistolary, the difference is in that Dracula, from chapter to chapter, the character writes the chapter down. They don't know what's going to happen in the next chapter. So that's my prediction to how I'm going to feel about the experience about reading Dracula. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know. But so what's the problem that I had? So it's a short novella. It moves along. It's very quickly paced. And towards the end, we start getting towards the ending. Now, I won't outright spoil it, but you know how Dracula stories go. You can make some, like I said, you can make some predictions about what's going to happen. And so there's a big climactic scene coming up that they're talking about. And it's like, wow, this is going to be really interesting. I can't wait to read this. The build-up's really good. And then you get to the last chapter, and it's like, okay, so we did the thing. And it's like, well, wait a second. You didn't describe the thing. Now, I've already mentioned there's two scenes of action. The very first one in the scene, with the vampire over the bed. That's a scene of action with no dialogue. It's really well done. And I just wish that we would have gotten that with the finale of the book. The finale just kind of gets skipped over. Now, maybe it's still the 19th century. We haven't maybe we've seen Dracula movies. We're used to reading about action being described in bigger detail, so maybe my expectations just are setting me up to not like that ending. But I still think there could have been a little more to it. And I'll give an example of maybe of how it could have been written. If the author's not going to describe the action in a more contemporary style, maybe he could have written it like the scene in Frankenstein, another epistolary, where Dr. Frankenstein gives life to his monster. Now, when you think of that scene, I don't know about you, but I've seen Frankenstein movies before I've read the book. So in my head, I immediately see, the doctor, and he puts the thing out on the slab, and the slab raises up with the chains, and Igor's there, and the lightning in the tower, and it's alive. But we don't get that in the book at all. The book, that scene, it's beautifully written, but it's very impressionistic. And I don't really know what actually happened. I don't know what Dr. Frankenstein did to breathe life into the monster, but it's a beautifully written scene, and you get something else out of it that's really interesting. But with Carmilla, as I said, you don't get anything, it seems. You get this really good build-up, and then, all right, novel's over. So, but despite that, I definitely recommend it. I think it's going to be a great appetizer for Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I'm going to read. Not only is it going to be October, but I want to read it, I think, for Victober. And also, unless I'm mistaken, is there a Randy Ray's The Literate Texans book club? I think he's reading Dracula as well in October. So a lot of reasons to read Dracula. So I'm excited to do that. And then coming up soon, I should have some more Shorty September videos for you. I think at least 2 more, maybe even 3 more. This channel we're producing a lot of content on this channel. But that's all for now. Thank you.